Hello! And welcome to Life on Board Amy Jo. Now this time I'll leave it to Steve because I think he's got to say something before I say it.
Yeah, we've got an announcement to make, and it's largely down to you, the viewers. We've finally, after 2 months of vlogging, have reached our first landmark, if you like, or milestone in vlogging. We've actually reached 1,000 subscribers. So to each and every one of you, a really big thank you, because now we've reached 1,000 subscribers, it opens up a few more possibilities that we can use while we're vlogging. So we are really grateful for you guys, and thank you so much.
And now you can come along and join us on our next journey to Ellesmere Port, but we're also taking along Gary on Chugabug with us.
Indeed. Down in Chester Basin now, and this is the site where the sinkhole opened up. You can see the new tarmacked area where the hole appeared. At one point it was threatening to take out that walkway bridge out, but the contractors have done a good job, filled it all in and made it all safe. It's just a shame it's destroyed the grass, but it'll recover. Well, we've been moored up in the basin now for a couple of days. It's time to move on. Unfortunately, we've got a horrible black cloud coming over, so we're just waiting for that to pass and then we're going to move on. He's moved on down the way there. He's now on the water point filling up with water, and when he's done we're set to go. Just wait for the rain to pass. We're just leaving the basin now. Gary's pulling out behind me, and we're off, heading off now up towards Ellesmere Port. Just coming through the crossover bridge, and Taylor's boatyard will come into view. We've kept the cover up because it's going to be raining on and off. If it stays dry, I'll probably take it off and drop it, but for now I'm keeping it up. There, a view there of the dry dock, and just passing Taylor's boatyard. I don't know if you can see the cruisers inside. Those cruisers were actually made by Taylor's when they were boat building in their heyday. The guy that now owns them hopes to restore them and get them back to their full glory. They're lovely looking boats. There's another one tucked away in there, you can just about make out. Beautiful boats, lovely looking things. That horrible black cloud has now long gone past, and hopefully now we'll have a bit of sunshine for our trip, but we know, as you can see right in the back, a bit more rain to come, I think. If you walk up this bridge, the canal side trail, walk down the road, and at the end of the road turn right, there's a one-stop shop, there's a fish and chip shop, and there's also a bar and booze up there. Well worth the walk. Just about to cross over the Diva Aqueduct. The road below is called the Diva Link, and it's a major road into the Sealand Retail Park, and it's that way. Major retail stores there, say Tesco's, B&Q, Halfords, Dunelm Mill, they're all there. Not about half an hour's walk from here. Doesn't look much, but this is the Countess Country Park. It's quite a nice walk for the dogs. It's a good couple of miles of it. It's just in the middle of nowhere, but it's an excellent walk. The two tall trees down there mark the far end of it, so if you ever stop this way and you need to let the dogs stretch their legs, here's a good place to let them do it. And there's also good moorings here, of course. Well, I have to say that this stretch of the canal is actually quite pleasant. It's quite warm in the sun, it's sheltered from the wind, and it's not looking too bad at all at the moment. Gary's keeping a nice pace there behind me, and he's thoroughly enjoying it. So we'll see what the weather does. If I pan round, it looks nice where Gary is. That's looking a bit threatening up there. I'm hoping that's the rain cloud that came over us when we were in the basin. We will see. But look at that. Absolute glorious woodland there. I bet the dogs would have a whale of a time in there. Do it again. And up ahead of us, we're just coming up to Backford Railway Bridge, or as it's known locally, Five Arches Bridge. The main arch here with the channel, the canal going through it. There's another arch through those trees, and two more through there. Unfortunately, you can't see them very well. You can just about make out the pillars, and that's one arch there. There are actually five, believe it or not. I think there's three that's on to the right and two on the left. There they are there. Three on the left. I stand corrected. Quite an impressive bridge this. Really high. Look at that. Might catch a glimpse this side of the arches. There they are. Yep. And you can see the other arches on the other side, on the off side of the towpath, under the trees there. I don't think the railway's used anymore. I will research and try and find out what line used to go across it, but it is quite an impressive bridge. And Gary's just going under now. just coming up to bridge 134. This bridge is the closest you'll get from the canal to the zoo. There are moorings just through the bridge hole, and you can moor up there and walk up the road. It's about 10-minute walk, 15-minute walk to the zoo. You might see the zoo in the background. And corrected, the zoo's on that side, and it's about a half a mile according to the sign. And we got another shower coming through. It's only a light one, this one. So we've put the cover back up again. Gary's got his brolly out, and he's decided he's happy to carry on. I'm inside the cover. I'm as dry as a bone, so as long as Gary's happy, we'll keep going. If he's not, then we'll stop. The banks are okay to put pins in. I've never stopped along this stretch, so I don't really know what it's like, so we'll just have to see. But for now, we'll just keep going and hope this rain moves on. Just off to our left is the village of Stoke, where the Bunbury Arms is, and you can just see Stoke Church in the background. Now, Stoke Church was quite a famous landmark for us at the refinery, because for years the clock face only had an hour hand, didn't have a minute hand. Interesting, that. Lovely view in the background of Frodsham Hill and the hills in the distance there, and our first sighting of the industrial area that is Stanlow. You can just see the chimneys in the background. That's our first sighting of the trip. But for now we can still enjoy the countryside, and you can probably hear the noise from the busy M56 which is behind me, that actually runs parallel with the canal. Don't know if you can see the cars as they're going through there. Sorry, there's not much in the way of natural sounds at the moment. The rain keeps coming and going, so I'm basically filming from underneath the pram hood. So unfortunately all you're going to get is me and the engine, so I do apologise for this. Hopefully if the weather improves I can get the hood down, and then you should start to have better sound, I hope. Sky looks lovely up ahead, so hopefully it is improving. Now that's the place to go if you want a bike, the Harley D shop. Well, Chugs is still behind. Gary is really enjoying this stretch. Don't think he was enjoying the weather too much, but he was happy to carry on when it was raining, so we just kept it going. last stages now before we come into the Ellesmere Port Museum. There's a lot of heavy industrial decay here. On the left hand side there's a new warehouse just gone up, for the look of it. It's the outlet superstore, so we're still part of the outlet village. The towpath looks pretty good. It's quite nice and wide here, but last time I came through here I ran aground on weed. Not very good at all, but it still looks very nice along here. Some nice memorials, and there we are.
On my phone, I need to get the camera out.
Yeah. A lot of weed now appearing. I don't know if this is what they call blue-green algae, but there's certainly a lot of it about at this stretch. I can remember the last time I came up here, at this very point I ran aground because I was bogged down in this weed. It's certainly a lot clearer this time, but as you can see there's still an awful lot, but the water is quite clear, which is surprising. Sadly, this stretch of the canal is a little bit derelict and a little bit run down. What a contrast from the canal that we just saw before we came through the bridge. It's very heavily industrialised now as we approach the museum, which is only just a few hundred yards ahead. Now there are some moorings on the outside of the museum. Hopefully we can get moored on there. We just have to see what happens. I can see a boat up ahead, but we'll see. Well, we're on the final approach now to the museum. There's some moorings here which we could probably raft up alongside each other, but we're hoping if we can get a little bit further in, then that'll be more beneficial. If not, we'll moor here and raft up. Just coming up to the entrance now through that bridge. Just moored up in Ellesmere Port. Chugs is now moored up here, just behind Amy Jo. Gary's there walking the dog. So we can now say that we've got to the end of the Shroppie, and if there was smelly vision, you could smell the bacon butties that Chris is cooking. So, bacon butties, so we're going to go and join them for a bacon butty. Oh, we made it. It was 4 years ago since we were last here, and unfortunately we can't go in this time because it's closed due to the COVID virus. But hey ho. Well, it looks a little bit wet and windy this morning. It's time to leave Ellesmere Port and go back to Chester, but as you can see, not a very nice day today. It's a little bit cloudy out there, spitting of rain. So it's wet gear on and we get ready to go. Well, unfortunately the trip back from Ellesmere Port was beset with heavy rain and strong winds. It was blowing a hoolie, so we didn't get any filming done at all. So we'll resume the story now. We spent a couple of days in the Chester Basin when we got there, and then we moved on up through the Northgate locks into Chester. We're leaving the basin now. We're going to head up to the top of Caroline Bridge. It's going to be a short video because the wind's blowing a bit and I need to concentrate on what I'm doing in this wind. just come up through the first chamber, and Gary and Chris are starting to open the gates for me to go into the middle chamber. Once again we've got Chugabug and Amy Jo rafted up together, so it only needs one of us to move the boats in the locks. The middle chamber of these locks, the Northgate locks, there's a board with yellow and green. If it's on the yellow, then the level's too high and you won't get the gates open. Ideally you want the level to be somewhere on that green section. A long way up there, and this is the middle chamber now. We're going up, one more to do, and then we're through the locks. There's short pause to do a bin bag run, because there are rubbish bins at the top of these locks. Just need the VW key to open the padlock and you can empty your bins. Quite handy. And it's the only bins in this end of Chester. There's nothing now until you get to Calverley, I believe. Through the locks now, making our way back to Chester Town Centre. Just coming up to the Bridge of Sighs. We've got a little leg through past King Charles Tower that you saw earlier when we come the other way. And then we're going to try and get moored up after Cow Lane Bridge if we can. Now moored up on the visitors' moorings in Chester above Cow Lane Bridge. Lucky to find empty moorings here today. I think the weather's put a lot of people off for this weekend, so we're going to enjoy the mooring here now for a couple of days. Time now for our non-boater section, and this time we'll have a look at the hot water system on the boat. It's not too dissimilar from the hot water system in a house, but we thought you'd like to see how it's managed on a boat. Now, I'm no expert on water systems, and I'm certainly not an expert in plumbing, so we're just going to have a very brief overview of the hot water system without any technical details and as simple as we can make it. To start with, the system is topped up from the freshwater tank. Leaving the tank, the water is gravity fed through a stopcock, enabling us to isolate the entire system for maintenance or leaks. Next, it passes through a strainer to take out any particles that have managed to find their way into the tank. The water is then pumped into the system under pressure. An accumulator is usually supplied to smooth out any pressure differences, either surges or dips in the pressure. And then the water goes into the clarifier or hot water tank. This is essentially a cylinder with the water inside and an element. Water from the element heats the water in the tank,
to the temperature set by the regulator. The heat source to heat the water is normally provided either by the engine or, if fitted, the central heating system via a diesel heater, and in some cases via a back boiler on the log burner. A one-way valve is usually supplied to stop any cross-contamination from the water being heated by the engine passing into the fresh water being supplied by the freshwater tank and stopping it contaminating that. Because heated water expands, an expansion tank is usually installed to take up any difference in the volume of water as it's heated. The feed after the accumulator is taken off a cold water supply to the outlets, namely taps or shower, and of course the hot water is provided from the clarifier itself. Finally, a line between the cold and hot water taps is put in with a mixer tap to control the temperature at the tap.
And that's it for this vlog. Thank you for joining us again.
Yes, and also a big thanks once again to our subscribers for helping us reach that milestone of 1,000 subscribers. We really do appreciate it, and of course your comments that are coming in are absolutely fantastic, so thank you very much. We're really enjoying reading them and replying to them. So of course, if you enjoyed the vlog, give us a thumbs up, and if you want to continue following us, as you will know if you hit the subscribe button down there somewhere. Chris is walking across the screen now. and if you want to be notified of future vlogs, please do hit the bell button and you'll be told when we post a new vlog. So once again, thank you very much to everybody for watching, and we'll see you next time on Life on Board Amy Joe. Bye.
Bye.